Hey, my name is Devin Thomas. I am from Indianapolis, Indiana, and I come from the high school Charles A. Tinley Accelerated, which is a majority black school. One story about me that kind of shaped who I am today, I guess it's kind of the reason why I'm in college today, really. Um, my major is media and communications, so I do a lot of filming. And one story is when I was a kid, I got into animation, notably stop motion animation. And it was just a hobby of mine. I remember my father told me that I had a gift and to really hone those skills. So I did, which kind of led me to this major, and I'm working on a lot of other awesome media projects over at Ball State. So it's been pretty fun. But like I said, my major is media and communications, second year, and I think the most challenging assignment that I've had within my major would have to be not much, honestly. Everything's been kind of straightforward, but there is a class that I'm taking now called media and distribution. My fault. My apologies. We essentially are learning about major media conglomerates like Amazon, HBO Max, a lot of streaming services, and it's been challenging because it gets deep in a lot of those assignments that I had where I really had to look into depth on how the streaming platforms operate and how they work and where they get fundings for their streaming services. And I also learned a lot about the Oscars, which was interesting, surprising because it was a lot more than what I initially thought. But then my major takeaway is there's always something to learn, especially in the field of which you are studying. So it's a learning experience, definitely. But I think the most fulfilling university experience I've had here was honestly the people. I mean, everyone over at Ball State is pretty great. No confrontation. Everyone's there for their own purpose and their own reasoning. So it's just a fun environment to be around, especially if you're new to everything. Share one thing you've heard about. I haven't heard much about 302 and the people and culture. I'm definitely open and trying to learn as much as I can. But yeah, but I think understanding the course will kind of shape my perspective, similar to how it is for me already in media and distribution. Just in regards to kind of learning more about representation of diverse cultures and all these different forms of media with this historical context. So this kind of, what my perception is trying to be shaped up to. Favorite film. This one's gonna be hard. It fluctuates a lot. I think my favorite film has definitely gotta be the classic, The Lion King, 1984. The animation version, just because of a lot of its life lessons and meanings that you get from the film. It's definitely something that's really interesting to me. Something I always loved as a kid. I would always watch it with my grandmother, like every night that I'd come over there. Definitely a classic film, 100% from Disney. Favorite streaming service, Netflix. I know Netflix is, I think, dying out or something like that. They're being a little bogus with the ads, but it is what it is. There's a lot of great shows on Netflix that I watch to this day. There's a lot of old shows that I watch to this day. I think Netflix just has a good category of films and especially TV shows. So, ideology, I think me consuming a lot of these media kind of shaped my understanding of me, especially again, that's the reason why I'm here. Like, me, the whole reason why I got into animation in the first place, especially stop motion animation, because when I was doing that, I did a lot of recreation of a lot of film scenes, such as Transformers, which was really convenient because there was already a lot of figures and action figures I can get from stores. So it just got me into the spectacle side of filming rather than just the story. But as far as in terms of culture, gender, class, and diversity, like thereof, I would have to really sit on that. Because I guess there's a lot of ways that media shapes you without you even realizing, which is also something that I learned in my media and distribution class. I'm gonna get that word right, I promise you. But yeah, like I learned that, you know, how media streaming platforms especially run their platforms, it influences people in a lot of ways that isn't always intended to be conscious of. So it depends. Explain background, how you grown, shape your perspective of others. But I think my background and how I grew up shaped, and how that shaped my perspective of others kind of depends on what era of time that I was growing up in. Like in middle school, you know, just into puberty, my perspective of others was kind of how they presented themselves, which, you know, as the chain reaction led to how I feel like I should present myself. But, you know, obviously as time goes, you stop caring about those things. So I think overall now, my background kind of taught me that, you know, everyone is capable of change. You know, regardless of what background they come from, everyone has that willpower to achieve greatness, you know, strive to be better in life. So I think my biggest shape of perspective, I guess, is the power of change in others. It's just an application. Reading. One takeaway from chapter 1 reading. I just started, so I can't comment on that. I was actually getting ready to do that right after this assignment. Now that I'm reading this, I might be late, and so my apologies. But when I do, I will leave a comment. I know this video is getting long, but there will be a comment made for that. And like I said, once I do read it, I can answer the other question of the leverage for my major. Maybe I can answer that. I kind of said this in the quiz that I just took. I was hoping journalism could further shape my education in media, just in terms of learning about diverse representation in culture. I think that's great. So I would take that when I do film, just to have a lot more context, especially historical context, for whatever subject of media that I'm trying to tackle. So, but that's it. You said this was supposed to be 35 minutes long. Maybe I overdid it, but thank you.